troopers and grinder. Wait a minute. Splitty City Slickers. Welcome to Hank's Think Tank, covering the craziest and cringiest in MMA news, or should I say combat sports news. This week on the Think Tank, we have got a boatload of combat sports news for you guys, dude. For you guys, or all those city slickers out there. Some of the key themes that we'll be discussing this week include beginnings, endings, betrayals, rekindlings, and most importantly, and this will be the key theme for our news show tonight, will be false flags. So look out for those, guys. Big time news either way here on the Think Tank that will have a real impact on the world. And I'm not just talking about the MMA world, guys. I'm talking about the real world. This is a very special edition of Hank's Think Tank. And this is stuff that you guys need to know, okay? This goes beyond the UFC. But how is everybody doing? Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. I actually think that this is a pretty fitting day to have Hank's Think Tank on Thursday. Hank's Think Tank Thursday. I got to have my alliteration for every single one of my solo streams. So it fits. And it's probably going to be a change I'm going to have in the future. But you know what? I think it's all going good. It's all going good. And I did a lot of preparation for this one, guys. So listen up. Widen your eardrums for this one. Make sure that it doesn't have any excess earwax in there, you know? So I got some important info just for you. Hey, what is up? Andrew Buchesny, the based one, Andrew B. MC, Andrew B. Hello, Hank the Tank. Hello, Liam Payne official? I don't know. Something about this guy seems a little fishy to me. It seems he's grown quite the bond with DJ Aiden. For God knows what reason. Maybe it's because good old DJ Aiden loves himself some Liam Payne. And Liam Payne is there to fill the void in his little heart. So good for him. Good for Liam Payne. The real official Liam Payne. I gotta believe it. I like that. I like it too. I like it too, Andrew B. We got really good stuff. Like, I have compiled the news for this one, I'd say over the last 3-4 days, and just pieced it all together, man. Like, I got a total of 8 news stories. Wait, hold on. This is way better. There we go. 8 news stories for you guys. That is all tracing back to last week. The new days. It's a new day. Yes, it is. Man, whoa, 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 whoa. And the new day. It is a new day. Yes, it is. It's a new day for the channel. But it isn't too new. It isn't too new. It's reverting a little bit to the past. We got our vintage classics for you, including the Think Tank. If anything, we have expanded. We've expanded on our operations. See? Yeah, we were thinking too small. See? Thinking too small. Thinking about the sewers. Thinking about spreading it through the park system. See? But no, we're gonna go big. See? Just screw prohibition. We're gonna go light up the Ritz. We're gonna go to these official banks and these different places, and we're gonna sell our liquor there because alcohol deserves to be free. And MMA news deserves to be free for all these people living under an unjust amendment. So there we go. Completely unregulated MMA news. What the heck? Yeah, what the heck? Oh, what the hooey? Oh, what the kazooie? It's Paradox the Chad, see? Oh, I remember Paradox the Chad. Me and him, we go way back, see? When I was on the shores of London, when I first selling my first dozen bottles of alcohol. That was when Paradox the Chad was hanging around these parts, and he was my number 2, see? Yeah, Puny Paradox, we called him. But he and me, we ran the operation. 3-0 Islanders and no party for Las Vegas. Ain't that the truth, Andrew B? Seems like Las Vegas is in a terrible, terrible state in terms of its general team sports. The Raiders are dying, folks. It's a real shame. We become the new New York Jets, or should I say the New Jersey Jets. And in terms of the hockey teams, I don't know if the Golden Knights are going to get back there. They might. That's probably our last hope for Las Vegas. But yeah, no party. I'm here to watch the party die. There we go. We got oh god, what was the name of that show? It was way back, 90s show. TV host, yes. Oh, what was his name? Yeah, there he is. Oprah win. Oh yeah, that's like the Arsenio Hall show. We got our barking section. We got the dogs for the Arsenio Hall show. Ooh 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 ooh. You remember when they had Jim Henson come on the show and he actually did a dog, the dog puppet, the piano playing dog, and then everybody was ooh 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 in the background. He went "Arr, arr, arr, arr." you know. Hey, Liam Payne official is back. But docs, it's me, Liam Payne. It's him. It is him. I play hockey. Hockey Tua on that thing. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do for some crack. Oi, how's it going, Cheddarhead? Wonderful to see you. Welcome once again. Welcome to dive into another installment of Hank's Think Tank. And let's cut out all the crap. Let's get it out of the way. Our first big news story for you guys. Where's my special fan, DJ Aiden? I don't know, man. I think he thinks that our channel is actually dead because he can't sense irony or trolling. So yeah, I'm pretty much dead to him after he let him on the show. So it's a real shame. It's got the chatter though. Let's get to the news story. Crack isn't cheap. It's not. And just ask Dana White's thoughts on Oscar De La Hoya. Anyway, let's get to our first big news story. We finally figured out where Kevin Lee fits into all this. But what round hole does Tony Ferguson's square peg fit in? No diddy. Current GFL signee Kevin Lee revealed on the Ariel Helwani show, you guys, because Ariel just loves any potential competition for the UFC, that Tony Ferguson has been in talks with the new promotion and that he'd love to have that rematch with El Kakui, despite him currently being on an 8-fight losing streak. Maybe the only fight he'd win in GFL, if we're being honest. He mentioned that Tony's had his ups and downs, more like singular up period and then, continuous down period. But they had a great fight for the UFC lightweight title. I think you mean interim lightweight title, Lee. You couldn't even manage to make second place in the UFC, and he'd love to have a fight with him, apparently, according to Kevin Lee. Well, tell DJ and I was on stream and tell him I said hello. Of course, Liam Payne. Say, Liam Payne, how did you survive that terrible fate, man? Did your heart restart? What's going on, man? So that's a miracle of modern science if I've ever seen one. But anyway, Ariel then followed up Lee's statement by asking if Tony was currently in negotiations with the GFL, and he confirmed it. So he is in talks with the Global Fighting League. This reveal is further supported by Ferguson's post on Instagram about a week ago, which reads, and I quote, completely destroyed myself to reinvent it. Myself isn't an it unless you're saying myself with a space. The more you know, kids. Anyway, as an artist, I am to show something you've never seen before. Didn't you say that with Goggins too? Anyway, I continue. Happy New Year 2025 in my sights. A champ, interim champ. CSO, just a bunch of different emojis he posts. Stay tuned and watch the magic unfold. New missions acknowledged. Finally outside the UFC. Hashtag Mr. Destiny with a kayak emoji afterwards. Fight news coming soon. So he is having a fight very soon, ladies and gentlemen. So translating Fergusonese, I read that he's acknowledging that he's fought his last fight in the UFC and is moving on to greener pastures, if you could call them those, in the GFL retirement home to reinvent himself. I'm sorry to say, Tony, and this goes for his fans too, including myself, but you're at a stage of your career as well as a general physical state in life where you're just never going to win a fight again unless it's against a complete can. Every opponent with a brain will know to wrestle you since you can't get up anymore and just beat you up on the mat with potential opponents like Anthony Pettis, Benson Henderson, Jeremy Stevens, Sidney Outlaw, Tyron Woodley, and Jordan Main. I think it's going to be a very long and difficult journey to receiving those retirement and insurance benefits. The only guy I see Tony beating right now is Rosamar Palhares. And even then, Tony could just have his limbs or joints snapped and not tap while Palhares refuses to let go. What a sad, sad fate for Tony Ferguson, you guys. But it's still, I have a little respect left for his previous accomplishments. I will wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors, even if they are in vain. Sup? Hey, good to see you, Chad King. I always love chatting it up with the Chad. I'm back alive. It is true. You have no explanation, but you made it, man. You found a way. UFC 312 is unacceptable. Dana needs to wake up from his vacation. I bet he's on a yacht somewhere with his son playing poker. Let me take a look at UFC 312's card. An intermission, if you will. Oh, yeah, Duplessis versus Strickland. Mm-mm-mm. God damn it. Okay. Yep, so we got the rematch, which I'm excited for because I know it'll be a good fight at the very least, but it's not Hamzat versus Dricus, you know? It doesn't have any major Aussie players in the main or co-main event. Weili Zhang versus Tatiana Suarez. I mean, it's a good matchup for. It's actually a tough matchup for Weili Zhang, so that should be an interesting fight at the very least. Stuart Nickel. Ugh. Stuart Nickel fighting Ray Saruya. They don't even have the card order right yet. Sal killed, dude. If you watch Sal Killed's fight on the Contender Series, you know it was boring as hell, and he looked completely sloppy in there. So there's taking on Jubilee though. It is against Jubilee, the return of the legend. Do not redeem, sir. You know, so that will be an interesting. Both guys are 7-1 actually, but yeah, Jubilee's done. He's dusted. There's no value there anymore. If he's getting destroyed by Mike Breeden, dude, Salkild might knock him out. I think Salkild's gotten a few knockouts before, or submissions at the very least. Yeah, he's gotten a round one knockout. He's gotten a few round one knockouts, so maybe. But he's also got submission abilities. That doesn't fare well. Tafa versus Teixeira. That's going to be a great fight, actually. Justin's probably going to get slept though. It's just an unfair height advantage. Tom Nolan versus Slava Claus. That's pretty good. Jack Jenkins, meh. Jack Jenkins, I really don't think is going to be anything special, guys. Couldn't even knock out Herbert Burns. He had to literally just quit by not getting back up. Cody Haddon versus Alexandre Topuria is actually a pretty good fight. Kong Wang versus Bruno Brazil, I like that. Jimmy Crute versus Bellato. That is one of the fights of all time. I do like Cody Steele versus Rong Zhu. That's pretty good. And Jusei versus Mikalev. It's all right. It just needs a few more good fights to actually be a card worth watching, especially on the main card. What are these people doing? Like, I'm seeing all these Tapology fights that are like second fight, third fight that should be like, top of the prelims. Because I don't give a shit about Stuart Little and Ray Saruya. I don't give a shit about Jubilee being on a main card. Like, Teixeira versus Tafa shouldn't be on a main card either. It's just, come on, man. None of the big names from Australia are going to be on the card. Tony versus Kevin Lee would be worthy of the feature fight of the pay-per-view. One of the GFL's pay-per-view. Oh, yeah. So I'll leave it open to you guys. What do you think of Tony Ferguson apparently being in talks with the GFL and wanting to fight? I mean, and Kevin Lee wanting to fight him in a rematch. Do you think he's just sort of like the other Tony opponents where he knows that he's got a pretty easy win, so it'd be a good bounce back for him? Or do you think Kevin Lee is actually trying to give the fans or Tony like what he wants and he's just sort of delusional about it? I missed the first story. So apparently, Tony Ferguson is in talks with the Global Fighting League, and he's going to be competing. I'm assuming in the lightweight division. I probably might be welterweight as well because he always like switches in and out between the two. But given that it's sort of a tournament format like the PFL, it might actually be a hard fight to book between Kevin Lee and Tony because they get to be on the same team. Like they're not fighting each other; they're on the same team. Guys, so, like, there's a good chance that they're partners instead of, opponents, and that would actually be pretty bad for Kevin Lee, all things considered. If it's, like, best team wins, then he's fucked. What happened in the first story? I explained it. Tony's gonna be in GFL, and Kevin Lee wants to fight him. It's sorta ridiculous. Who's my special fan? I don't know. I won't give specifics. I'm not doxing him. You hear me? I'm not gonna reveal his hidden cave in Australia. Speaking of which, he could have had DJ Aiden on the UFC 312 card, and that would have sent the pay-per-views through the roof. People would actually be interested in it. Damn it! Where's DJ Aiden on the early prelims? Kevin Lee will win over Tony. Yeah, I think we all know that. Yeah, it's just tough. He's still in his prime somewhat. He's just a dumbass. Tony Ferguson is a dumbass and he's out of his prime, which is a deadly combination. Aspinall is fighting against. Well, I'm gonna break the news. I'm gonna break the news about that. Yeah. I'm not completely sure about it, guys. I'm not completely sure about the Aspinall and Jones fight. It's up in the air a little bit. Gulp. So I don't know what to say, man. I'm gonna get into the news story about it, but there's a lot of rumors back and forth about bouts that might be happening, might not be happening. Will they? Won't they? You know. DJ Aiden's at Giuliano's house. He found a way. Yep. Hung around in the live chat long enough for Giuliano to give the address. And honestly, he's not even his one house. He's got multiple. So it'd actually be pretty impressive if DJ Aiden showed up at a house of Giuliano's where he was actually there, you know. Jones is gonna milk it till summer. Dana White seems like he's gonna be milking it till summer as well because he's trying to shut down any and all rumors, which I'll get into very soon. Huh. Yeah. It's difficult. It's a difficult situation. I'm up in the air about it. Like I think there's a good chance that it happens, but at the same time it's John Jones, so how can you really be completely 100% on board with anything he says or promises or does? Oh yeah, I also want to mention, guys, that we are monetized, and we have some new emojis for you guys, including the No Diddy emoji. So anyone who's a member, make sure that whenever Hank the Tank says No Diddy, there's an option to have some No Diddy emojis flooding through the chat. Also got Skatesman and I. The more members that we have, the more we can expand on it. And I actually have quite a few emojis that are dedicated to specific members of the channel. That'll should be pretty fun once we reach that number. And also super chats and all that. If you have a membership as well, Hank the Tank will be doing a stream tomorrow for a member stream. Are you by any fires? No, thankfully I am not. I'm not in the southern area. I'm more northern. But I have had a period, like I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, where I literally bared witness to a fire that was like a few miles away from my house, and I'm lucky that it didn't go in my direction. For DJ, I don't know if it's for DJ. I think it's for the sadists to trick him. I got an evacuation warning earlier. Jesus Christ, man. I'd follow it. I'd pack up your things, dude. Pack up everything, man. Let all the loved ones know. Let your friends, let your neighbors know. I'd play it completely safe and get out of there, man. You could even go to Giuliano's chat and talk to him about it. Like he might actually help you out. So evacuation warning. That sucks, man. But be careful. And I'd say just weather the storm. Be patient. Like it's not like you're gonna change anything if you're still there. Like the house is gonna be in the path of the fire, regardless of if you're there or not. So just all about saving your skin, man. Saving the bacon. Sweet. What time tomorrow? It is going to be. I think I'll probably have it at 8:15, but if people want, I can have the member stream earlier. So I actually leave it up to you guys. For any members that are in here, what time would you like that member stream to happen? I'm surrounded by fires, but no danger. All right. Well, are you gonna take a chance and sort of batten down the hatches, or what's gonna happen, man? Because I don't want you to see you get burnt to the ground, man. Like it's serious. Like it's a huge phenomenon that's going on all around you. It's like fires can be small 1 second and then huge the other, so they're very hard to predict. LA's just, huge swaths of it burning to the ground. Cheddarhead is going there. Yeah, I'm packed up. Yeah, I'd split, dude. I wouldn't even take a chance, man. I'd book a hotel and be away for about a week. But I ain't running just yet, dude. I'm telling you, like, let's say you're heading to bed and all of a sudden the fire is starting to move towards your area, man. You didn't see it coming. Like, I'm just saying there you shouldn't take chances. And that's not saying like, oh, you're being stupid if you're doing this or that. I'm just doing it because I want to look out for you. So in this world of danger and circumstance and randomness, I just My recommendation is don't take chances. Please do. I'm going to Florida. Okay. Sounds fun. Sorry for your loss, Cheddarhead. Loss of a lot of area around him. He hasn't lost anything just yet, Andrew. You're a good man, Hank. Thank you, Cheddarhead. I appreciate that. Because I know you've been around in the online MMA community forever, helping people out and just being a good sport about most things. So I ought to return the favor. You're a member of the channel too. The first chance you got, man. You're a good man, Cheddar. Andrew, I'm not dead yet. Yeah, yeah. He's dead inside. He's dead in his soul at the moment. He's just not. He hasn't left the mortal plane yet. Not yet. It's so annoying. But let's get into my next bit of MMA news for you guys, dude. Mike Perry's career prospects seem to be all over the place right now, with everyone having an opinion on his current limbo situation in bare knuckle and dirty boxing, including Mike Perry himself. On the Overdogs podcast, Platinum Mike said that he was in a constant state of not being offered fights by Bare Knuckle FC, wondering if Conor McGregor had really fired him, or if all the BKFC fighters were just afraid of him after he put up a valiant effort against Jake Paul with boxing gloves. Yeah, I highly doubt that Mike, with that chin gone and you getting outclassed by a celebrity, I'd think a few BKFC fighters would start seeing you as fresh meat instead. Delusionally, mind you, but still, that sounds like a more realistic line of thinking for them, don't you think? That after you lost to Jake Paul, they might have a chance against you? Anyway, however, BKFC President Paul Feldman doesn't seem to be buying it from Perry regarding his accusations, saying that March is the targeted date and fight in BKFC for Mike, and that he's always going off about them not booking him. Yet the organization has been in talks with Perry's management team, and Feldman talked with Perry when they had a show in Florida. So there's clearly a disconnect between the promotion and the fighter here. And I know who I trust more in this situation: the ones with less CTE and celebrity. I know I forgot you are there in Los Angeles. I didn't know about that either, to be honest. I live in LA, and I don't believe the fires are real. All I see different is the sun being darker. Just don't watch the news and everything will be fine. Man, I don't know if that's the best line of thinking, Hank Hill. I'd look at a map and see where you are compared to the other fires, because again, it could be, oh, it's just gray outside. It's nothing. I've had the same, feeling, but then there are other times where the fires get shockingly close, and like, just because we got, you got 4 or 5 fires that are like, oh, they're minor ones, or they've already happened, doesn't mean that new ones can't pop up. The winds are still pretty high. So I don't know, man. I'm just saying, be careful. Be careful, because that a fire could pop up anywhere, especially with the kind of wind and humidity conditions that are happening right now in that area. Cheddar head. Yeah. Anyway, continuing on with my news story. God damn it. Feldman further stated that potential options they are looking at for Perry's next fight include the recently retired UFC vet Robbie Lawler, which I would honestly hate the BKFC and never watch them again for ruining Lawler's perfect retirement. Don't let him out of that contract, UFC, or company guys within the promotion, like Dave Mundell and Austin Trout. Either way, Feldman seems to think that Perry's return will happen in March. The question here is, when will the press conference for this event in March be? I know the BKFC loves to have their press conferences a couple months ahead of time, but it's already January, and you'd have to have your negotiations met relatively quickly and set everything up for the press conference at the end of January at the latest. For that reason, I'm taking Feldman's promise with a pinch of salt, but his word is certainly more trustworthy than Mike Perry's. A couple games got postponed or moved the date and the area. Anyway, literally in that same podcast appearance, Perry said a fight against a great name in BKFC was right around the corner, and then in the same breath said he wanted to knock Darren Till's fake teeth out in dirty boxing. So Feldman's right. You can hardly believe anything Perry says when he's always hyping himself up. And that's okay. You got to do what you got to do to get your name out there, especially after a loss in boxing to Jake Paul. Just stay on the wagon for the next couple months, okay, Mike? Let's go, African King. Florida, Naples, for 3 months with my parents. Lovely. That's gonna be fun. Florida just suffered a big ass hurricane recently. What was its name again? Florida recent. Milton. Yeah, Hurricane Milton happened recently. And if you go to Florida, Andrew B, you might actually see the remaining wreckage of properties that were hit by the hurricane. Like I watched live streams of YouTube channels that were in like almost the center of the hurricane, and it looks like a war zone, man. It looks like a apocalyptic neighborhood post atomic bomb. Like there are trees felled everywhere. There are poles ripped to the ground, even in Georgia and states up north. Like they're getting hit with that fucking giant ass natural disaster. So watch your step, Andrew, because it's not gonna be it's not gonna be the same environment you saw before on Saturday. Yeah, yep. All right, cool. But anyway, what do you guys think about Mike Perry and Paul Feldman's differing accounts on when Perry's next fight is going to be? Do you believe Feldman or do you believe Mike Perry? I personally would believe Paul Feldman. And who would you want to see Perry face next? Would you want him to fight Darren Till in dirty boxing, which I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon since Darren Till's already booked. Or do you think it's gonna be Dave Mundell or Austin Trout? I think him versus the champion Dave Mundell would be the best path to renewing people's excitement and stock for Perry, in my opinion. Um, Yeah, and then they were talking about Lawler as a potential opponent for Perry, and that's just ridiculous, guys. It just why would you do that to Robbie Lawler after he had a perfect retirement package and he cried and was emotional and everything was going great? Like, why would you just put that up in flames and just have him get destroyed by Mike Perry, or at least have a competitive fight? I'd give Lawler a chance against Mike Perry, but you know, I don't know, man. I just feel like there's a good chance that Mike Perry could just flatline him and outpace him and survive him, you know. So I think it'd be a terrible move to have Lawler versus Perry. I don't care how much you pay him. Perry versus Till for the memes. Yeah, I think that would definitely be a great option for later this year, like second half of the year. Meanwhile, have Mike Perry back in bare knuckle boxing to get people interested in the promotion again and sell some tickets, and then you'll and I think there's a lot of guys in BKFC who Perry can beat as well. So I think that would be the best move for sure. Again, I find it so weird that he had so much like planned ahead of time, or that the BKFC has its pre-fight press conferences like 2 months away from when it takes place, and it's January, so you got to sort of hustle a little bit if you want to have an event in March with Mike Perry. So I don't know, it's interesting. Anyway, let's move on to my next big news story as part of the think tank. The mental warfare committed against UFC bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili by Umar Nurmagomedov and his team continues as Merab's friend and apparently now former teammate Magdi Amakov has been photographed training with Umar ahead of his fight at UFC 311 against the guy who gave Magdi a free room to stay in when he was a homeless immigrant. And now he's probably giving away all of Merab's strengths, weaknesses, and tricks to his fight game. Yeah, great choice there, buddy. Basically, turned his back on the guy who gave him housing when he got to America. Now, I guarantee that Umar and his people are paying him FU money to do it too. Shit, they've enlisted pretty much an Avengers-sized lineup to help the undefeated Dagestani named Nurmagomedov be perfectly prepared for his fight. Demetrius Johnson, Bilal, Cejudo, Dan Ige, all on camera helping out an OP Cliff fighter. What has the world come to, guys? It's all very unfair for Merab, especially since he can't even get into the UFC's Performance Institute when he needs to. Maybe there's a more sympathetic angle here regarding a debt needing to be paid as to why Mogdy's doing this, but come on, man. Your friend's the champion. And even if he loses, he'll probably still win a fair amount of fights in his division. Unless he hates you now and kicks you out of his place out of spite. I don't see why you would turn your back on a friend and a guardian angel of a friend at that, just to earn some bigger bucks from the competition. Some have speculated that he's feeding Umar all the wrong information ahead of UFC 311, so a double agent maybe. Others aren't as upset about this switch up in support, saying that you can't trust anybody in the fight game and that someone is going to be training with you one day and then against you the next. Happens all the time, and it's strictly business. Yeah, I think some guy named Corleone said that about his operations too, and that turned out to not be true. Especially in a business where the result of a fight could change your life and health forever. Someone who you kept off the street supporting a guy who could put you on a downward spiral in your career isn't just business. It's betrayal with actual consequences. Look at Colby versus Masvidal and tell me that betrayals in MMA don't have ramifications, legal or otherwise. I don't care how much they're paying him, especially since he's already friends with the bantamweight champion of the world. If you had that little faith in him as a defending champion to switch sides almost immediately, maybe you weren't that great a friend overall. With all this psychological abuse and corruption from Umar, I really hope that Merab embarrasses him and his family in a few weeks' time. Again, never thought I'd ever say that in a million years, but these are the cards that we are dealt. Splitty City Slickers. So there you go, Mr. Mogdy Amakov is helping out the competition. Merab basically gave him everything he had to gave him shelter and food to survive when he first showed up in America. And now here he is working with his arch nemesis at the moment and giving away all his little tips and tricks that he does during his fights. It's very interesting. How to put it? Interesting turn of events. And everybody is like talking about, oh no, Umar, he hurt his arm. He's the victim here. He's the one who's in jeopardy here. He's going through it the worst. No, Merab is clearly going through it the worst, and Umar has a direct role in it. Like he's supporting guys who are fucking with Merab before their fight, trying to get into his head, trying to turn his own friends against him, making sure that everything has to be perfect and he stays out of the Performance Institute. I've never seen something like this in my entire life. And in my time as a fight fan, like I know Connor, like he had mental war games for Jose Aldo, and he, said all sorts of mean things, but like, that's the same level as Umar making Merab angry at the press conference, and that's one thing. But now he's just making every day of Merab's life sort of a living hell, or like just trying to do something to fuck with him or gain an advantage over him, and it's just like, how much can you mess with Merab before he snaps? It's amazing that Merab hasn't quit the company already after how they're treating him as their champion, Honestly, I don't see how all the bantamweights haven't quit after how the UFC is giving Umar Nurmagomedov his current treatment, I'm concerned about this channel. I hope you get all your subscribers back in here and get more views of the content and shows like this one. I hope this channel would be more interesting for other. I know, Andrew B. I know. It's, when you go through a big transition, it's going to have its ups and downs. There's going to be its sacrifices that are made. But I'm just going to assume that a lot of the people who were interested in this show in the first place are going to find out that we're the same show and stick around. And if not, we'll just find a new audience and we'll produce, additional content that'll get new eyes on the program. And I think things will return to normal soon enough. But it's just, it's going to take a little while, and that's okay. Life's full of changes, but we're monetized. There's a plus to that, and as long as there's like extra motivation, we're gonna keep on going with this thing and eventually find our groove, just like any change. Interesting for other people, it will be. We will get through these hard times, daddy. Oh, Sniff, I saw you, baby. I saw you on your YouTube channel in Texas. Talking about on the countryside, if you will. American dream. I am the people champion because I go through multiple perspectives, if you will. And I gotta say, Ric Flair, you wouldn't know a working class problem if it bit you in the foot. I tell you this much, baby. You haven't been around the common people. Like Sniff, when he's there in his live chat and he's hearing all sorts of perspectives, baby. And they have all sorts of conspiracy theories about the government and religion and what vaccines do to you and all sorts of things. And things that honestly shouldn't be talked about too much, but you'll know what? It's what heightens your street smart, if you will. And I was born on the streets, baby. I'm the son of a plumber. I had to scrape. I had to beg for money for food to feed my family on the street. Even when they spit in the cup, that was something, man. I feel your energy through the TV screen. I'm sorry for my confusion comment. It's okay, Andrew B. It had to be done. Hey, Cheddarhead. Thank you for the additional $10, man. You do not need to give me that, especially with what you're going through right now, man. Save up your money. Come on, man, please. Oh, man. Well, it's the Cheddarhead way. It is what he does. And it is what it is, you know? And that was a very kind gesture from Cheddarhead, but save up your money, dude. Because you never know when you're going to need it, man. Anyway, continuing on. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I've already said it, but what do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this story before I move on to the next one. What do you think of Merab's former training partner, Mr. Magdi Amakov, training with Umar instead of him? What do you think of all this psychological warfare? Do you think it's just, the standard of the sport? Oh, DDP did it. Oh, Dominic Cruz did it. This, that, and the other. Or do you feel like it's starting to go a little bit too far against Merab Dvalishvili? And I don't know, man. It feels like almost mob treatment of Merab at this point. Everybody's against him. There's eyes everywhere. They're all pulling the strings to make sure that he snaps, or that his gym situation is not the best going into this fight. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much, but I've just never seen a champion in the UFC go through such a tough time since DJ, honestly. God bless you, Cheddarhead, and I am in full agreement with him. God bless Cheddarhead. And God bless the base one, Andrew B., who, by the way, will be celebrating his birthday in a few days, Splitty City Slickers. So make sure to wish Mr. Andrew B. a happy birthday. And No Chill MMA is looking for videos from people. And all you have to do, go to a live chat, go to anybody, and, type in a message. Hey, could you wish Andrew B. a happy birthday? And those people will respond. Just screen record their, oh, hey, happy birthday, Andrew. Because No Chill has a competition for who can do the most happy birthday videos for Andrew B. So try to contribute, because Andrew B. is a gem to the online MMA community. Hard times fun. Yes, $2. And I tell you, when I have to cut through a $2 steak, it's like cutting through a piece of granite. You dig me? Hard times, man. When you feel the contents of the food you just had for breakfast literally stabbing through your small intestine and bubbling through your stomach and coming out your appendix, that's hard times, baby. I don't have food at all, man. I just got material. I had to be big. The portions I was eating, they were big as stones, baby. Andrew, when's your birthday? It's coming up. I think it's Sunday by the blue, purple, yellow, red water. Happy future birthday at Andrew Buchesney. Yes, sir. I think it's pushing away to be fair, but it's a good way to start him getting better. That is true. Maybe all this pressure will create diamonds, just like the great Dustin Poirier said. Maybe, just maybe, all this bullying and all this mental manipulation and all this gaslighting, maybe it's going to backfire on him. Maybe Merab's going to be more motivated than ever to teach Umar and his Nurmagomedov family a lesson, that you can only F around with your opponents for so long, and you can only be, two-faced and hypocritical for so long before karma eventually catches up to you. So it might happen with Arman beating Islam. I know that, honestly, Islam, I think, is a better guy than Arman Sarukian. I think Arman's a piece of shit. But, hey, if it takes Arman to get rid of that title and push the Dagestanis down a block, then, hey, that's what you got to do. Thanks, Niff. Yo, what you doing? I'm doing the think tank. Hank's think tank. Established since God, when? I think it's since like August or September of this year. I've been doing the think tank for a very long time. But this is a special edition, an extended edition. Hank, are you picking Moicano or Dariush? That is the question. To be or not to be? That is the question. To make money or to bake bean? That is the question. Do you choose the man from America who is part of the great holy land, or do you go with the master money maker, my brother? Ah, I don't know, man. I feel like Moicano does more on top than Gamrot does. Gamrot is someone I think you can out-grapple if you're good enough at takedown defense. I feel like Moicano is going to work on his striking way more compared to this fight with Benoit Saint Denis. I think Moicano was expecting to just smash BSD on top, and I think that's why he sort of looked a little loosey goosey on the feet in round 2. But I mean, he was in there with Drew Dober for 3 whole rounds, and he didn't get knocked out. And we know that Dariush hasn't really been a knockout artist in a little while, so I feel like if Moicano's on top against Dariush, it's not going to be very pretty whatsoever. Um, but I just think Moicano's in a good state right now. It's been a long time since Dariush fought. What? Since yeah, it's been an entire year since then. And it's probably going to be even longer. So I feel like he's going to have some ring rust. I think Moicano's going to practice the striking more. And we know Moicano, like, he can train his striking so that it's a perfect transition into the takedown. He can do it. He's a great hybrid fighter. So I think that Moicano's got it. I think I'm going to lean towards Moicano. I'm not completely sure about it, but I'm leaning towards him because I feel like he has more tools in the toolkit at this stage in his career. How many times I tell you all people of my birthday is? Yeah. It's Sunday. Moicano. The Moicano impression is pretty good. Thank you, my brother. And let me tell you something. I going with Gilbert Burns against Michael Morales. This guy is from the Spider-Man movie, my brother. He's from the animated Sony Picture trilogy, my brother. He is a cartoon superhero, but he's 2D, my brother. He's not a real person. He's gonna get ripped up like a piece of paper, my brother. I'm going with Gilbert. Hank, I have a good Cat Williams impression. Do you? I'm just thinking about a set he did because I've seen interviews. Hey, you don't understand what's going on. You're at these parties, we go to the party and hey, having a good time. Oh, tell a joke, Cat. Hey, yo, and then you see the room, and then you see that room, and you know you don't want to go in that room because you're about to face a big ass lawsuit. Dude, I'm Cat Williams, number first time in the Diddy part. I don't want nothing to do with this, man. There's layers to this shit. So I'm a good time. I'm having fun. I'm a stand-up comedian, but way to go to that room. Ooh. You see what's going on, man. It's just crazy shit, So you just got to be yourself, man. You got to just, hey, I'm the life of the party. That's how they got Tupac. Let's make a bet. I'll take Benny. I'm trying to make bets with a bunch of YouTubers. Trying to make bets. Well, you want me to bet my money on this? The only man I'm betting money with is Money Moicano, my brother. So I would do Russian roulette with a gun and a 1 bullet in 4 chambers, my brother. And that would be how I lose a bet, man. I'm trying to make money, Cheddar. I'm not trying to burn money. And I just haven't bet in MMA fights. I don't have a betting account. I don't have any sites that I go to. I'm mostly like, dude, I'm angry at my picks, and those don't even involve money. So honestly, if I started betting, I'd probably have to ask you guys too. Like, would you allow me to bet on MMA fights with what I'm making from the channel? Like, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm just trying to be a giver right now, and I know I'm taking money as well, and I appreciate that a lot. But I don't know, man. I feel like I lose my mind a little bit if I started betting money. But hey, maybe someday down the line. No, I don't want you money. Oh, I'll take a bet. Oh, I'm trying to make bets. Oh, you mean just a regular bet. I got $100 dono versus no chill eating a large white onion like an apple. Ah, I see. Well, remember, you have to prepare you have to prepare an onion in a very specific way. Oh, lost all my fingers, but you got an onion. Here you go. That's probably how Tito Ortiz eats his onions, just like he has his sour grapes with his he crushes the grapes in his hand. And, you know that Tito man, he's a strange character. He makes his own grape juice. He doesn't stomp around in them. He just and then he pours it into his wine, and then he drinks the wine with his sad violins. It's how he's been outliving his children, Cheddarhead. He'll be so proud of you that you got his impression. I got 100 dono. Yeah. Hey, well, hey, dude, I got a ghost pepper already. Would you lower it to habaneros? Would you reduce it to eating a habanero pepper? And $100 dono versus Giuliano eating a pint of ricotta cheese in a Mario costume. Nice. So what would my punishment be, man? And listen, it doesn't have to be a punishment for Hank the Tank, okay? I can do whatever you want. You understand? I'm sucking out for the money. I'm selling out, you see. And I got talent. I got smarts. I could be a contender. I could be somebody instead of a bum, which I am. So I could do a performance or an impression for you. Free membership, free everything. Please. Don't punish me. I'm going through enough physically, guys. Come on. Where's Idaho tonight? Probably shaving the beard for a new girlfriend. Or having sampling some peanut butter in various stores. So that's probably what he's doing. Or he's doing late night construction work. And don't you mess with him. Interesting, Cheddarhead. It is. Cheddarhead's got something concocted for me. Really, I'm afraid. I'm afraid for my life. But anyway, let's go on to my next big piece of MMA news. I don't know. Let's involve a MAGA hat Trump wig. Oh no. I'd probably do. It has to be the George Washington wig, so I could be Washington Colby Covington. Have you seen my Colby Covington impression, Cheddarhead? It's pretty good. I think it's pretty solid. So that would just be like the next stage of that. I could do the Trump impression, or I could do Colby. Maybe I could be like a bipolar Hank the Tank, where I'm just switching between Colby and Trump on a whim. Dr. Colby and Mr. Trump. Let me think. Oh God, he's thinking. He's starting to think, folks. This is very bad, very bad, very bad, folks. Hank, what is up, Drunken Boxing? Good to see you, my friend. Ba-boom. All right, let's get into the next. By the way, Drunken Boxing. So the news that I have discussed so far is Tony Ferguson is in talks with the GFL. Kevin Lee wants to fight him. I'm not that big a fan, to be honest. I think there's way better candidates for him to fight. And then Mike Perry wants a fight soon. It should be for March, apparently. And then Merab's own lifelong friend, who he gave shelter when he first came to America, has turned his back on him and is training with his opponent, Umar Dvalishvili. But everybody feels bad for Umar instead of Merab. It is what it is. I'm out. Catch you later, based one, Andrew B. All you better be prepared to wish Andrew B a happy birthday on No Chill stream, because this man deserves it for defending Hank the Tank against the evil Liam Payne official. Captain Deadpool and his trusty steed, Good Noodle. He saved the day, man. So he's a legend. Go, Mike. Yeah, I love Mike Perry too. The true representative for Africa. Tony and Kevin Lee in the GFL. That's right. Yep. So, what do you think about that? I honestly think Tony just doesn't do well anywhere he goes. Bye, Andrew. Good night. Yep. Goodbye, bye, Andrew. Bye, 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 bye. Do, 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 do. Pray for no chill. Yeah, he's going through strep throat right now. That sucks, man. He checked himself into the hospital, right? Yeah. He was in the and he literally did a stream like, dude, one last check-in stream before I check into the hospital, like, and then he did one where it's like streaming until I pass out, like, not the best of moves from No Chill, and like I've made some bad moves too. I was sort of pushed into having to work all of Sunday, all a bunch of Monday, and then a lot of Tuesday. I had to do pick streams early. I've gone through a really tough period as well of just nonstop work. But man, you can't overwork yourself, especially in an environment like this where you're just sitting in your chair for hours. Like he's just got that tone of voice where eventually it's going to catch up to him, especially if he hangs out outside, and catches something. So it's tough. But I do hope the hospital stay is brief and that he finds the right treatment. But guys, don't be too hard on him if Andrew B's birthday stream ends up or video ends up being canceled. You can't be disappointed. If I'd be fine with No Chill honestly doing a postponing the birthday stream to later. Like I hope you're okay with that, Andrew, because like we gotta think about No Chill's health first and foremost. Uh Impression of Matt Hamill filling in for Buffer. Oh God. Matt Hamill. God, what does he even sound like? Oh no. Oh no. Oh God, this is I'm gonna go ahead to hell for this one, but let's have a listen to Matt Hamill to see what he sounds like. One second. I'm gonna get there. So evil. This is so evil, Sniff. Oh God. Okay, all right, here you go, Sniff. Here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live 5 rounds in the UFC heavyweight division. Introducing for fighting out of the red corner. He stands at 205 pounds. The one, only, and Holmes. Hey, John! Hey, fuck you, John! I took your undefeated record away from you, piss baby! Eat a dick! Hope you like that. Oh, yeah, my little girl could kick his ass! Liam for sure. Is No Chill dying? Oh, yeah, strep throat. Let me look at strep throat. Bacterial infection. Strep throat caused by bacterium Streptococcus pyogenes can range in severity from mild to serious. Serious complications: rheumatic fever, scarlet fever, kidney inflammation. Yeah, he's got a. I'm glad that he's in the hospital right now because if he wasn't, that would definitely be serious. Oh man, is strep throat that bad? Depends. In the wise words of Max Holloway, it is. It is what it is, brother. It was a slip. It was a slip. We're gonna find out Saturday night. Hey, baby, ready, ready. We are all dying. Yes, slowly. Prayers are out for No Chill. I'll end up watching it. Come on, Hank. You know what he sounds like. Oh God. I don't mind if it be postponed. Angry, angry Hank. Just hold your tongue while doing Buffer. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, I'm going to hell for that one. Oh man. Holy shit. Great. All right, there you go. There's another impression. Bing ching right in the bank, baby. Yep. Hey, I'm glad I don't believe in God or Christian morals because I'd be in trouble. You understand? I feel like Matt Hamill's gonna sue me for this one. Sad his dang organs aren't working. They potentially couldn't be working. It depends on how serious it is. It could just be in the throat right now, but it could be in other places too. So ready. What happened to Skate Tank? I mean, we were around. Oh, you mean what happened to the name? Skates. Oh, I'm sorry. The Idaho Fight Fan changed it to Combat Sports. No, Split Decision Combat Sports. To be fair, I did tell him, hey man, I'm not gonna have any part of the creative process. If you can come up with the name, come up with the intro, do the graphics, do the everything change, then go ahead. But I'm not. I'm not gonna be involved in the work. And then he eventually did get it done, and I kept my promise. And then he was working on Fight Nerd. He always wanted to do that for a long time. It's going to be active, and I helped him with that. I helped him with the first show, so I'm just hoping that it works. I hope that it works. I hope that enough people are longtime viewers enough to recognize we're still the same show, just expanded, bigger, and better than ever. And then some people stay around, and we build an audience off of this as well. So short term growing pains, but eventually we'll be in a good spot. Nah, he said so. Oh, he said his organs. Oh no, man, that's terrible. That's bad. You just eat the peppers? Yeah, I did eat the peppers actually. Yes, I had my ghost pepper punishment stream. I'm amazed that my internal organs are still working. A no chill's a tough kid. He'll be okay. I think so too. He keeps himself in good enough shape. Parker, it's fight fan. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. God give him everything. Yes, he's recently converted, so Islam should be on his side. Damn, that's wild. Yeah, I know it is. There's a lot happening these days, especially in January and winter time. You start to really have the diseases start to pile up a little bit. That's why you got to keep yourself warm and cozy. Damn, that's why. Oh, you mean regarding the reproduction of the channel? Yeah, I know, man. I know. I staved it off as long as I could, but it is what it is. Who said that? Apparently, No Chill said that he was dealing with tough stuff with his internal organs. So not good. No Chill said that. Well, let's pray for him, folks. I think the people at the hospital should treat him well, but gotta reach out to him, make sure he's okay. At least he went to the hospital. Hopefully, he can get better. I know, yeah. I hope he caught it early enough, but to the point where it's at it in his organs, that's getting to the severe level. So at least he was able to check himself in of his own free will. It'd be worse if he was forced to go to the hospital and he, passed out and someone had to call. Yeah, oops, I forgot about it. Yeah, no problem. Anyway, let's go on to Hank's next big piece of MMA news, ladies and gentlemen. Thin-skinned lizard sellout. This is important, guys. This is the big one. This is the big thumbnail story. The first story of the description. The thin-skinned lizard sellout and UFC Mark Zuckerberg has appointed Dana White to join the board of directors for Meta, the Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp social media conglomerate. Apparently, due to Meta dealing with a lawsuit from the FTC under the first Trump administration for overpaying to own multiple social media companies that has the potential of ripping their conglomerate into a million pieces, Yucky Zuck has decided to place Donald's personal friend, Dana White, onto the board as a buffer, maybe a Bruce Buffer, who knows, or David Buffer. I can't believe he's still alive. As a buffer against this lawsuit, who can whisper in the Don's ear during a UFC event and potentially have the case thrown out on a whim. And with the current congressional supermajority by the new, or should I say old, real old, U.S. president. On top of this, Zuckerberg has wiped out all of Meta's fact checkers, as Mark admits in a recent video, because Trump retook office and he doesn't want himself or his company to be targeted for correcting or rejecting alt-right hate speech and political propaganda on social media. And donated to Trump's inauguration fund. So he literally had to buy seating for his inauguration day, bought seating for inauguration day to curry favor and mercy from him because he's been threatened with arrests from Trump and like just, had everything that's part of his business threatened. Even saying that he'll move to Texas from California, just like Don's current number 2, and I mean that literally number 2, Elon Musk. What a frightened little worm Mark Zuckerberg is, everybody. That's what I want to say. Anyway, Dana is now being used as a human shield for Meta at the moment, as well as someone for Zuck to mark out to in meeting rooms. And he couldn't be happier. Writing that quote, and Dana White couldn't be happier about this. He said, quote, "I've never been interested in joining a board of directors until I got the offer to join Meta." Oh, wait. I've never been interested in joining a board of directors until I got the offer to join Meta's board. I am a huge believer that social media and AI are the future. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, we know what Dana's using that access to AI for. And it's not just to help Moicano in the lightweight rankings. He wants his lover, John Jones, in the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter position, and he wants to replace MMA journalists with AI to do it. Great. Some more inhuman substitutes for our completely stable and inflexible human labor-based job market. And for the dumbest of reasons to boot. Plus, they both want more AI on social media, which I'm sure is just a gift to the world for everybody online. And not fake account bots spreading all sorts of manipulative monstrosities wherever they go. That's cool. So yeah, this is an already weird relationship between the lizard and Uncle Fester. Turned up to 11 with real-world consequences, guys. How fun. Will Dana save the poor, innocent conglomerate from the evil regulations of our citizen-elected government? Does Dana have a portrait of John Jones on his bedroom wall and just wants his face to be the first thing he sees on the rankings website to match with the UFC mark's help? Stay tuned, troopers and grinders. I forgot about it. And his family. Yeah, for sure. Split decision combat sports is better than skate tank. I think people will accept it over time. MMA channel talking about politics, fun. Well, the thing is, man, it's just more and more MMA is not exclusive from politics. Trust me. I wish it was. I wish I had my own little private island to watch, UFC and MMA and other stuff and just talk about the sport. But I mean, when UFC CEO is literally signing business deals with one of the biggest conglomerates in the U.S. economy, and he is constantly in meetings with the current president of the United States, and he's been involved. He's literally getting involved in lawsuits from the federal government. Like, how am I not supposed to talk about that, man? It's important. Anything Dana White does is important, and plus, I got to mention that he's working with an AI company. He's been talking about nothing but, hey, we got to change the rankings. We got to have John Jones up there. It's all a symptom of a wider comprehensive problem. And so I had to talk about it. This is fourth story. Sure. Well, we know how Chad King feels about it. I'm right with No Chill's family. Yeah, his grandmother's a saint. So shout out to his grandma. She might be going through it, man. That don't mean shit. 0 MMA channels talk about politics. You'd be surprised. There are a fair amount of YouTube channels that do talk about it in videos too. Only reason you talk about it is because that's Dana White. That's John Jones too. They're one big happy family. They made a Jones, White, and Trump sandwich the other day, and it was delicious. I got to tell you that much. Needed salt, needed some mayonnaise, but it's pretty good. Dana likes to watch, by the way, so he and Gary have that in common. But yeah, I mean, and when it's at the point where literally I can't watch a UFC pay-per-view without seeing just him get glazed for like middle and entire end of the main event. It's just them shaking hands for like 30 minutes. So MMA is not. It's literally tied to politics at the moment, and I just want to talk about it because it's my show, man. I want to talk about what I consider to be important, and compared to the rest of the MMA news, like, oh, a fight announcement that's coming up in a week. Wow. Oh my god, dude, like Junior Tafa's taking on so and such on the early prelims of the Aussie card. Like, I want to talk about news stories that are actually important. And if that means I have to talk about stuff that's slightly UFC related, then or slightly politics related because UFC's entwined with it, then yeah. Should Dana be with Jones for life to be with in marriage? I mean, at this point, like he might as well just get down on one knee and get out the ring, you know? Should Dana be with Jones for life? Yes. Yes. They need to make it official at this point. It's like the Ellen DeGeneres show. She just needs to let her the truth be heard eventually, you know? Literally zero MMA channels talk about politics. That is not true. They talk about it on their live streams all the time, and this is a live stream. And you'd be shocked, you know, you go in a live, you go in an MMA live stream long enough, you can't escape it. They give their political opinions. Frankie does it. Guru does it. I don't know if Tracy's done it, but Moicano's done it as well. Like there's politics involved. They'll make up a channel for politics. They ain't even your show. It's actually my show. It is Hank's Think Tank, so it's always been Hank's Think Tank. And Skatesman and fight fans never been interested. Notice the chat's dead now since you started talking about politics. No, it's just being invaded by a guy who's really obsessed with it. Chad King, it's okay. Yeah, agreed. Hey, Anakin MMA, good to see you. Welcome to the Think Tank. It's okay. It's a license I watch. Yeah, we still got the same amount of people in here, so whatever. I'm just going to say what I'm going to say, and it's related to the UFC. If you got a problem with me talking about politics, tell Dana that. Tell Dana to get his big fucking butt out of politics first. Anyway, let's go to our next big MMA news story. Giuliano does it. He does it too. So there you go. Next bit of MMA news. All right, fine. Now all of a sudden, all the people will come back. All of them will come back to the think tank once I'm actually talking about MMA news. Here's that actual combat sports news. Can you believe it? It appears that we have run into perhaps another false flag in the UFC rumor mill. As its CEO and now AI obsessive, Dana White has shut down Texas resident conspiracy theorist and complete Dana and Donald Yes Men of Joe Rogan's relayed gossip on his hacky podcast that John Jones has asked for $30 million up front to fight Tom Aspinall, and that the UFC intends to pay it in full. Now, Joe Rogan has said on a more recent episode of JRE that Dana White called him after hearing the rumor to tell him that it was BS and that Jones is more likely to retire. Some people in the online MMA community who have seen this clip are saying that this is just an instance of damage control and deflection of public speculation regarding the fat amount of money the UFC has to give John Jones to fight Tom Aspinall compared to the other fighters and champions on their roster, and that the fight's 100% happening. Guru also seems to think the fight's pretty much set in stone and that the UFC will pay Jones set amount, but he also reposted a report from that clickbaiter and poor excuse for an MMA journalist, Reuben Carter, who I've mentioned before on the show. People forget, man. Reuben Carter! Worst MMA journalist of all time. He changed the game with his lies. People forget, man. Saying that John Jones and Tom Aspinall had verbally agreed to a fight at UFC 316 in Austin 316. I just whipped your ass. What? In June of 2025. Yeah. They can't even be in the same room together, much less verbally agree to a fight. And if I know Jones at all, all negotiations are just with Dana and Hunter on his terms and his terms alone. And I'm still not 100% if his ducking is an act or not. I said 100 times, don't even like him. Just corny hearing a dude with zero life experience talk about politics. Channel. Except I've devoted my whole life to studying politics. So I don't know why you would call me inexperienced when I've spent my entire college education about politics. You don't know, man. Seriously. And signed up for political internships. So Why don't you like him? Because I didn't like him the first time. I thought he was an inadequate president who was spending all his time on the golf course. He was reaping the benefits of what the last 8 years, but so he did his job in being inactive, but eventually being inactive caught up to him. He's an amateur, and I mean maybe he'll have more experience now, but I honestly don't like the changes he wants to make. So it is what it is. I think he's a little cuckoo regarding his policies. They're too extreme. He's going to save America. Trust. Well, you wanted me on the at the Capitol. YMCA. Yeah, that was an interesting segment when he was literally just dancing to YMCA for 2 hours instead of answering questions. America, fuck yeah. Every president has their strengths and weaknesses, but I don't know. I really don't like Musk. I think we can all agree that Trump should kick that little fucker out. Now, see it for real, sissy boy. They're all run. At least he's funny. Wow, that is true. At least I'm the funny one. But at least he's funny. Yeah, but funny has to translate to effective policy and helping out your constituents and the people who got you there. And it just seems like something he's not interested in. Voted your whole life, so you voted for once. Yeah, I voted twice, three times actually. Very low IQ. I mean, it's more than just voting for politicians. You vote on proposals, you vote on propositions, you vote on local issues, you vote on local candidates for city politicians, like county politicians, judges. Like, there's all sorts of things that can be voted on. It's not just the, U.S. federal presidential election. There's a lot to be done. And honestly, if you actually want to have an impact on politics, you got to join a cause that engages in direct action outside of the electoral cycle. If you want stuff to actually get done here and now, short term, you got to join a club and you got to join a cause. You said devoted. Yep. Read. Learn to read. Oh, man, our grammar and our literacy rates are going down, folks. Down the tubes. Head Start. No Child Left Behind. You vote for all that stuff? Yeah, I do. He voted because Trump was mean. Yeah. He's a predator as well, so pick your poison, folks. Pick the poison that tastes the sweetest. Anyway, moving on. Oh yeah. So my mindset for anything involving John Jones is guilty until proven innocent. And if he's alleged to be ducking Aspinall into retirement, that's what he's doing until the fight between him and Aspinall is announced by the UFC. I don't want to hear any rumors that gets my hopes up because we've seen John Jones not do the right thing over and over and over again, fellas. So why would he start now? He's a habitual liar and a soulless politician behind the scenes. I'm not believing any pre-fight announcement negotiations or offers I hear. There's no use in doing so before either his retirement or the next announced fight. I will say, though, that the UFC can easily pay him $30 million if Dana does a couple of favors for Turkey Al-Sheikh. You know the ones I'm talking about. I want to hold your hand. Hey, come on, Dana, please hold me, brother. Hold me. Clench my fist. I want to feel your sweat, Dana. Okay, my wife isn't around. Ooh, we're holding hands. Ooh. Anyway, lots of hand holding for Turkey Al-Sheikh. This is not a matter of money, but whether John fully completes his ducking of Tom Aspinall or not. Don't pick your poison. Both sides are corrupt. That is true. That is true, but I mean, they're corrupt, but they have different policies and different ideologies and beliefs on issues. So, I mean, I can tell you about 2 executive orders that Biden passed literally like within the last week or 2 that have actually been good things for teachers. What was the other one? There was another executive order he did recently. Oh yeah, he made sure to stop oil drilling on the Pacific Ocean and outside of U.S. territory since we're making the transition to green energy, especially with what's going on in fucking Los Angeles. I'm glad there was sort of a buffer against that. What else did he do? He had 2 executive orders. Yes, Dagestan, Braza, Dagestan. So he basically made sure to increase Social Security or make sure that Social Security was given in full to teachers that weren't receiving it or were having their pensions go up and down. Uh, he had a more solid increase to Social Security. There was one more. Oh yeah, he banned medical debt from credit reports. So, I mean, the devil's in the details, guys. That's all I'm saying. I know they're corrupt for sure, absolutely, but every once in a blue moon, something good happens. So don't get completely nihilistic, ladies and gentlemen, because change can happen. Oh yes, it will. When do you think Jones versus Aspinall happens? It's like I said during the story. It happens as soon as it's announced. So, I mean, I think it would be sort of mid 2025. Trust me, it might just be a mid 2025 with the way the UFC's heading. But I think it would have to be mid 2025. Jones took very little damage against Stipe. Tom Aspinall's waiting in the wings. He wants to fight Jones immediately. Everybody's buzzing for it. It would have to happen around mid 2025. It would have to get probably announced by next month, I think, or March. But Dana White is shutting down rumors, so I have no idea. He shut down Joe Rogan's thoughts that John Jones wanted $30 million, and Dana White was like, "No, no, it's BS. It's not true. Shut up. Are you serious? Do you actually think John Jones is going to fight the GOAT Tom Aspinall? You're crazy. John Jones is the best ever. He'd never do something like that." So maybe it's to again. What was the word I was going for when um, I had a term for it. Oh yeah, he was trying to do damage control so that people don't catch on to rumors about when the fight's happening or how much it's being paid for. Just like he fired Ariel Helwani for teasing Brock Lesnar's return ahead of time, and way better than diarrhea is good and way better. Well, to be fair, giant douche is better than a turd sandwich. I like shitting. We could tell. You've never had a good shit, Chad? That is a good question. Good thing I don't live in LA. Yeah, but you gotta have a sympathy for your fellow man, no matter where it is. Oh wow, that's crazy good. Anakin, I'm literally surrounded by fires right now. Yep. You already said that. Will the wildfires affect 311? That's a great question. That is a fantastic question right there. Anakin MMA, because UFC 311 is taking place in Los Angeles. Now let me see. Let me actually do some little research right now. Affected area. It's the Google Maps. Yeah, there's Eaton over there. My Corona. And then where's the stadium? Into a dome, yeah. People aren't going to be into it after these fires. Maps. I'm pretty sure it's out of the path. Let's zoom out though. All right, so yeah, they're pretty far away, but I think the problem is that you're just gonna have such unclean air. There's gonna be smoke everywhere. It's gonna be hazy. They're probably gonna be in an area where the air quality is too low. They'd just probably tell fans like get in your hotel rooms, make sure it's a quick trip between buildings. Like, God, they might still try to pull it off, but people are gonna be ingesting that shit on their way between the hotel room and the arena. So I feel like it's not going to get shut down because the UFC always gets what it wants, but I think it's going to have consequences for people who are attending. I think they're going to be breathing a bunch of that shit in. Maybe there will be seats that they'll just sell for low prices out of respect for what LA residents are going through. That would be the right thing to do, right? Is to lower the price of seating so that people can attend something to get their minds off of this horror that's taking place. It's far enough away from into a dome that doesn't have too big an impact, but smoke's going to be rotten. So UFC's going to maybe find some way to make it up to people who are still going. It's tough, Cheddar. I pray you make it through. No, I hated him for a while now. And again, if you actually paid attention to what he did in office, you'd understand that he's just fucking George W. Bush 2.0. Just wants to spend more time on the golf course than in the White House, and whatever he does come up with is garbage or rolling back progress that's already been made. Thanks, Anakin. I'm supposed to vacuum. He wanted to get rid of Obamacare, so this guy's a little corporate fuck. I don't like him. He sucks the dick of every lobbyist who's hanging around in Congress. So fuck him. Making a grilled cheese right now. Yes, grilled cheese for Cheddarhead. Inglewood. They moved the Monday night NFL game to Arizona. So you think the UFC is going to do a last minute location change? Maybe somewhere even more south? That's a lot of tickets that are going to go up in flames. Literally. But Chad, thoughts on a night of going to Applebee's and going to a strip club? Interesting. Strip club after Applebee's. Other way around. I'd go to Applebee's first. You got the vaccine? Not just once. I like it, rats. Friends planned out my birthday. Nice. That sounds fun, Aaron. Oh, also good to see you, Aaron Tats. Tats, you got to get drunk at Applebee's. Well, it'll make for some memories for sure. Sounds like a night on the town for old Tats boy. That's the plan. Obamacare was dog shit. It's non-existent for 4 years. It was only implemented 4 years after it was passed. Pardon people, yeah. And Trump is going to pardon. He's pardoned political hacks and criminals and people who have gone around the political process and been exposed for corruption. So, yeah. They both have had terrible pardons. But literally the ones that Trump has pardoned have a reputation for that shit. But it's both. The Hunter shit was bad. But again, it's hypocritical. It's two-faced. I'm making chili tonight. Hey, Scott, there's a snowstorm coming my way. Make sure to get warm and cozy. And do you like to put anything on your chili, Scott Young? Do you like to put cheese, sour cream, hot sauce, salsa? Do you like to put stuff on your chili, or do you just have it by the bowl? I will say that the Hunter shit was bad, but Trump has pardoned political criminals way worse than Hunter. Chad King, I thought you didn't like to talk politics. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point from Cheddarhead. So if you don't like the political talk, you don't engage. What do you guys think of John Jones and Aspinall potentially being out? Do you think that this is just bullshit and that John's gonna fight Aspinall anyway, but Dana White's doing damage control to make sure that nothing leaks? Do you think the fight is really happening? Are you optimistic, pessimistic, in the middle? What do you think? Thoughts on Dana lying about John asking for a lot of money? Well, it wasn't Dana. It was Joe Rogan, who had heard a rumor, who was like relaying what other people were saying through the grapevine in UFC headquarters. So Joe Rogan, I wouldn't say Joe was lying because he just heard it as a rumor. Whoever else is like telling Joe this shit, it's like, probably Hunter, probably Sean Shelby, probably Mick Maynard, somebody who's with the UFC higher ups who's saying this, and I'd believe them, especially if they're in the room with Jones. And if you put those guys and John Jones in a room, you'll never hear from those people again. All right, the room will be so white, it'll be white as a ghost. You'll have to push your way through the goo just to find their corpses. Dana basically he's trying to cover up, or he's saying that the amount is BS. But even if it was that high, he could probably pay using Turkey's funds. John did ask for a shit ton of money. Tats, I think they're bullshitting us, my brother. When it comes to John Jones' history, I'll believe he's fighting when I see him walking to the cage. Exactly. There you go. Exactly what I'm talking about from Scott Young. Believe it when you see it. Because Jones has pulled out of way too many events and done way too much politicking, way too much waiting for Francis Ngannou to leave the UFC for him to say something and then do it. He never does. He's always telling a lie, or he's always trying to manipulate the UFC and the fans into getting his way. So unless it's official, it's not happening. Doesn't matter. Now that is actually based from Chad King. They absolutely do have their lobbyists. They have their money, their corporate money. I just think I just personally think that one side tends to curry their favor more than the other, or has one side has more policies that tend to regulate that particular group. So that's why I'm just optimistic. But maybe I'm a fool. Maybe I'm a fool at the end of the day. But I don't know. I just see differences in values and policies. Dana is doing damage control because he wants to try not to give John leverage. Oh, so that John Jones asked for more, so he can keep it at, maybe a smaller cost. Interesting theory. They're going to extend like he's going to act like he's not interested and milk this drama. Yeah, they've been milking it for a while now, honestly. They've been milking it since November of 2023, so good for them for pulling the wool over our eyes. And they say that the UFC isn't just like WWE. You'd be wrong. It pulls with our emotions and it tricks us just like wrestling does. John was scared to fight Kane and DC at heavyweight too. Yes, he was. He's a coward. I wonder if Dana actually wants Jones to fight Tom. I mean, he said it since what was it? UFC 308. He's or 309. He said that he wants that to be the fight to happen. I don't know if he wants it, but I think he's just been pushed enough by various people enough to be like, all right, let's just get this shit out of the way. I think he's more annoyed that it hasn't been booked yet. I think he just wants Jones to sort of, leave so they can have their new heavyweight goat and Tom Aspinall. I think he's seen the light. Both sides don't care about you to an extent. Dana has his Michael Jordan of the sport. I don't know if he wants to risk losing that for a Brit. Well, I mean, Cheddarhead, it's that or retirement. So honestly, I can see why he'd want Jones to fight Aspinall because otherwise Jones is retired. And then his cash cow and his Michael Jordan for the company is gone. He doesn't have leverage over Francis. So I think he wants John Jones to have as many fights as possible as the GOAT before he leaves the sport because otherwise he's not making money. They did that. It was rushed, but they had to do it because it was a giant pandemic and the economy was dying and everybody was dying. So it's true, but people had different, experiences than others. Mine weren't too bad. That being said, 30 million is doable, and I don't think it's an amount that says to me that John Jones is ducking Tom Aspinall. Yeah, it is. Again, if he just, takes a bit of money from Turkey's bank account in his pockets and just slips out a bit of cash, he could pay it. Yeah. Takes a little money from the jar. From the swear jar. Imagine if Anderson Silva retired at John's current age. Man. UFC would be making a boatload. A boatload. Ducking. Oh, retired. Didn't he Oh, John's current age. Yeah, he'd be considered a GOAT, not John. He'd be the GOAT. Ducking? Absolutely. John isn't really the biggest cat. He's not. Yeah. It's really just Dana's pure spite against Francis Ngannou that keeps him around. Dana has plenty of cash cows to get his milk. He actually doesn't really. Like, who does he really have? Like, he's got Pereira. DDP isn't a draw. Strickland maybe is, but if he loses to DDP, that star power is gone. Bilal isn't a star. Shavkat, he might be, but not that big a star. Islam Makhachev is a star. Ilya Tapori is a star. Okay, so he's got those couple, but then Pantoja and Merab, like he's got enough, but they're just barely got enough. And Izzy is I don't know if he's really been that big a cash cow, to be honest. Yeah, it never disappears, Chad King. Once a disease is in the world, it's in the world. Now there are specific cases that are like located in one area that can disappear, but disease like it's not at the level it was before, but it's going to be around just like the flu, just like the cold, especially depending on the weather. I'm going to sleep now. Good night. Good night, Aaron. Always a pleasure chatting with you, buddy. Mm. Oh well. Good night, Chad. Hank, do you think No Chill's in the hospital because it didn't get vaxxed? Hmm. I don't know if there's a vaccine right now for strep throat. Um, Let me look. Yeah, there's no there's no vaccination for it. So good night. My grandpa randomly got that after taking a vaccine. Yikes! But the specifically the COVID-19 one or another vaccine. Anyway, let's get on to my next big news story. Sean Strickland is apparently on good terms and training regularly with his old buddy Chris Curtis again. Although it doesn't seem like the two are back and better than ever at the height of their powers again. Bloody Elbow shared a photo near Christmas time of Strickland and Curtis in training gear together at Extreme Couture. An MMA junkie followed up on this information by asking Chris about it in a recent interview. Curtis explained that he's never left the gym and that Sean and him always fight, always off and on again, and that they've known each other long enough to get under each other's skin and to create tension during sparring sessions, which have resulted in threats and fistfights. Curtis even said that he's considered hitting Sean with a brick and crippling him, and has threatened to do so during fights between them, which is very interesting. That's, you know, Fight Fan and I are not at those levels at the very least. It got to the point where his own mother was concerned about Curtis over their grudge. But now it seems the two have been able to smooth things over once again in anticipation of both men's upcoming fights. Curtis is with Kopylov on Saturday, which is a great fight I'm looking forward to, and Sean against DDP in Australia. However, Curtis did mention that it's inevitable that both of them started getting on each other's nerves and fight once again. It's in both men's sensitive natures. I just personally hope they're both in a good enough place eventually to do the man dance podcast again. Do the fucking man dance. Let's fucking go, you stupid fucking bitch. Let's go for you guys, dude. I love tuning in to those two just yapping about ridiculous shit on occasion. Dude, fucking when my parents would turn on the TV set when I was a little kid, I didn't even have fucking toys, dude. I was watching fucking pornography when I was just fucking 6, dude. Maybe Curtis can get Sean the do-rag, the blunt, and the henny again. And everything, and every little thing gonna be all right. Hey, raise the henny if we're getting the fucking belt back, you guys. Put a blunt in my ear. It's gonna fall into my hand, dude. Let's go. Fucking da, Sean. Let's go. The vaccine gave me diarrhea, brother. Yikes. Well, at least you didn't get cancer, apparently. COVID-19. Well, there were multiple brands. There were multiple brands producing that one COVID vaccine. So it's like you can't even say that it was like that one vaccine did this to me because it was an effort of multiple. I got the J&J, like others were getting Pfizer, other people were getting this vaccine and the other. So I think you can't say it was one. It was multiple companies all fighting for it. And honestly, guys, I'm not a fan of big pharma. I'm not a big fan of drug companies and corporations or even big vaccine companies they charge double and triple for the vaccine after pandemic was sort of behind them and people still needed them. So as soon as the what's the word something had been lifted. What's the word for it? As soon as the weight had been lifted, as soon as the fog God, fog was lifted, and things started to return to normal, they basically price maxed the vaccine, which was very interesting. And just when you got corporations and giant ass conglomerates, they tend to privatize what people need. So, not a fan of the companies, that's for damn sure. But he has something else, but not strep throat. He lost 20 pounds and couldn't stop vomiting for 2 days. Mm. Are you talking about no chill right now? Might have that virus that's going around. Oh, the winter. What is that called? Winter shrinkage. Oh, virus that's going around. Put on embarrassing amount of money on a vaccine stock and lost every penny. Yikes. Well, you shouldn't throw your money around. And then again, you're have enough money that you're donating to a lot of channels. So who am I to tell you what to do? So yeah, it's interesting how many things have a stock market and how many um, topics have di- discussions where you can bet money on it. It's like that's actually sad how commercialized every little thing in our economy is. Boofarino 30, welcome to Split Decision Combat Sports. I've lost a shit ton of money betting on sports at 3 a.m. Maybe you could bet a shit ton of money on stuff that's in the afternoon or in the morning or at a comfortable hour. Don't do it at a time that's gonna give you fucking insomnia or put rings under your eyes. I mean, obviously, I don't know your economic situation, so maybe you're desperate to make some quick money, but yeah, I mean, if you have the option to make money at a reasonable hour, that's not gonna fuck up your sleep schedule or your health. Like I'd go for that, Buffarino. By the way, Buffarino, um, the news cycle that I have had so far is Tony Ferguson is in talks with the GFL to fight there. He's gonna do terrible. Mike Perry might be fighting in March. Merab Davalishvili's former friend and training partner Magdi Amachov is training Umar for his fight with Merab. Dana White is joining the board of directors for Meta with Mark Zuckerberg. And it's probably to make John Jones the number one pound for pound fighter on the rankings. It's looking like John Jones versus Aspinall. Joe Rogan thought that John wants $30 million for the fight, but Dana shut that down, and we're not sure if that was legit or if and John Jones is retiring or if Dana's just trying to do damage control. And then Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis are on good terms again and are training together. So, what do you guys think of Sean Strickland and Chris Curtis being associates again and being in a good place again? Do you not care? Do you think they've done enough pussy shit that you just don't care about them at this point? Is Merab going to beat Umar? Now, I read a story that said that Merab wants to make it a stand-up fight with Umar. Honestly, I think that's a terrible idea. I think that Umar could just chin Merab because he got chinned by Henry Cejudo for a second. Umar can surprise you with his stand-up game. Now, he did get dropped by that guy Becton, I think. So it might actually be sort of an even contest on the feet, but Merab survived the stand-up of Corey Sandhagen, so I think Merab feels like he's the worst grappler here, so I can understand Merab wanting to keep it on the feet, but Merab's mid on the feet as well, so I honestly think this is just terrible for him. I hope Merab versus Umar ends in a draw and Merab gets stripped. Yep, and then who do we give Umar in the meantime? We give him Sean O'Malley so that O'Malley can put or give him Peyton Talbot. Vapes up my butt. Woo! Right hand fight by Talbot. Flattens Umar Nurmagomedov. Just some tall, lanky fuck that can just snipe him and put him out cold. That'd be nice. I'm glad they got over their Chuck beef. Their Chuck beef. Is that a form of beef? Jimmy! No, that wasn't just some random fluke with the billboard. He started it. Jimmy! He defecated through a sunroof. Oh, Chuck steak. Yeah, Chuck beef. Their specific Chuck Liddell beef. You know. All my comments are getting flagged. Not anymore. Boob there after you, man. Yeah, his name's Boob, apparently. What's all the hubbub, bub? Wow. People are very set in their ways, man. People have their opinions. But I'm just saying, man, there are certain ones that have been around for a while now and can prevent you from the really tough infections. Like I'd at least take the tetanus shot, man. Like you don't want to just cut yourself on something rusty and then just die immediately. Like I just recommend some that are like would save you from really, really life threatening conditions you wouldn't have a prayer against, you know? That's all I'll say. But I don't want to have too big an impact on people's decisions. But got over there, Chuck beef. Yeah. Oh, it couldn't be our Jimmy. Couldn't be precious Jimmy robbing them blind. And you have to believe me. I'm sorry. Lost my train of thought. I apologize. Where were we? I apologize. Let's get to the next topic. 8 mushroom capped 15 5 minute took it 5 minutes ago. I'm wondering if you are from the 1950s and time traveled here. Oh yes, of course. I was on the net. I was on the legal drama Dragnet for a short time as Constable Dependable. I was also on an episode of Perry Mason as the alleged suspect of the premiere episode. And here I am with the feature premiere of King Kong. How about this, man? Wow, isn't she wonderful? She's just marvelous in that turncoat. I'm from the 1950s. And remember, kids, just say no. And remember, when you see the flash, duck and cover, kids. Make sure to get next to the lockers. Oh, bend down real quickly and duck and cover and make sure that you're underneath your desks when the bomb drops. Those damn Soviets are back at it again. I'll do drugs out of a random stranger's pocket, and therefore I didn't mind taking the back to save my job. Wait, your job made you? Well, I can actually sort of understand. You don't want to infect your coworkers. Sniff, eat a few more. Yes, and then we'll get into real philosophical shit there. Cheddar, you may have developed immunity to most things. Yeah, including the LA fires, apparently. But still, I'd get out of it. I get out of there, man. People forget, man. Took his back like a ninja. Anyway, let's get to the next big news story from Hank's think tank. How about it? Another false flag for a potentially major bout has just been thrown. As Conor McGregor and Logan Paul's alleged exhibition boxing match in India has been seemingly put to rest by Logan Paul on, of all places, WWE television. On the company's big Netflix debut episode of Monday Night Raw, Logan Paul stated that wrestling fans hate the fact that he's so good at wrestling, on top of being a major influencer. So much so, he claimed that he was now dedicating his life to professional wrestling. No more side hustle bullshit, according to Logan Paul. I hope that side hustle bullshit includes any and all future crypto scams and that god-awful podcast you do. Your YouTube channel, your Instagram, your Twitter. I'd be fine with all of that being pushed aside for your wonderful, wonderful wrestling career. Hey, maybe even cut out everything your brother Jake does outside boxing, too. That would be just swell. Now Logan could just be doing a wrestling promo here, and he'll be in and out of the sport for various periods of time like usual. But I don't know. Wrestling is a week-to-week show with a big training regimen, so you have to be committed to its touring schedule. Perhaps Logan means it. After all, Conor's the only one who's been confirming rumors on Twitter about anything involving him in boxing. And his brother Jake Paul called cap on negotiations taking place between Logan, Conor, and the Ambani family in India. Once again, a potentially big rumored fight was just a figment of all our imaginations. Never be hyped for a fight until it's officially announced, folks. That's the moral of the news cycle story this week. Now Dana White is saying Conor won't be booked until late 2025. Yeah, and then late 2026, and then 2027, 28, 29, 30. By the time Conor finally arrives, Trump will be out of office or the midterms shake things up. Maybe time can fly by very quickly thanks to old Koki McGregor. Keep up the terrible work, you sleazy clout-chasing hack. So there you go. Seems like Conor versus Logan boxing match is off. No, you do want to get your coworker sick? What, so that they can be immune as well? That's sort of selfish, man. It's like having a fucking COVID party, you know? I'll wait for the firefighters to escort me out like a princess with a cherry picker. Yeah, that's how it works. They'd go up to your glass chamber and give you a big kiss to awaken you from your slumber, while the dwarves celebrate in victory around your grave. There you go. Someday my prince will come. Someday my prince will come. That shit was lame. Did you see it? Yeah, did you see the January 6th version of fucking Monday Night Raw, barber? Yee! Hey, takes us away from Federal Reserve. Jake would fight Conor in 1 second. Yeah, but he apparently doesn't want anything between Conor and his brother. Anyway. Yeah, so that's another big piece of MMA news. What do you guys think of that news story? You think that wrestling has ruined that all the news of that exhibition boxing match? Another thing I want to say, guys, is do not believe any announcements you see on Twitter. Any fight announcements that a supposed MMA journalist has on Twitter. Reject it. Because they're just trying to get your clicks and try to get an easy buck. But it's bullshit, guys. Wait for the official announcement. Instagram's more dependable than fucking Twitter. Did you pay your respects to the heroes of January 6th, Hank? Yes, I paid my respects to that guy who shot through the glass at that one lady who was trying to break into the vice presidential chamber. That guy's a hero. So big thanks to him. And also respect to the guy who had a million people like literally standing on top of him and trying to suffocate him to death on their way to the Capitol for surviving. I wish he had pushed it over like the Incredible Hulk and just beaten their fucking brains in. That would have been nice. So shout out to him. I wish he'd have done more. People don't think the universe be how it is, but it do. Hey, man, what it do? Bedtime crew. Hey, man, listen today. We got my bingo card for 2025. Okay, guys, my bingo card. And I predicted Bilal Muhammad to upset Leon Edwards. They called me crazy, but I'm not. Dude, I was living on fucking Chicago as a Palestinian, you know? And what I got to say is, dude, Bilal Muhammad was going to be a champion from the start, dude. But what it do, Bedtime crew? Dude, I'm better than Guru. I'm better than Guru and all the impressions, you guys. It was an inside job. 9/11. Been proven. Been proven by evidence, brother. The fucking Nancy Pelosi, man, she intended for it to happen, you know, dude. Which the January's the day Netanyahu gave a speech at Congress. Yeah, I wish so too. I wish they'd have broken through and just curb stomp that motherfucker. That we can agree on, not in the AM, bro. What a little piece of shit. Modern day Hitler. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Any dictator being in Congress on that day, I wish they'd have broken through. But it is what it is. You know. Winsky Gate, inside blowjob. Yeah. It was inside a lot of things. But hey, they did not have inside jobs with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. It ended up I did have an inside job with Monica Lewinsky. Yeah, she did say she fucked up. Cops at the scene. They believe it was a setup. Was George a Democrat or a Republican? They both were actually. George H.W. was vice president to Ronald Reagan in the early think he was his vice president from 1980 to 1988, or was it 1984? I'm pretty sure it was 1980 to 1988. Vice president. And then he was president from 1988 to 1992. What it do? 1992 bedtime crew. No, Dan Quayle, right? Um, let me look. Yeah, I'll tell you what, he was way better than his son. They both had a dark side. Yeah, 1981 to 1989, yeah. And then as the Republican, and then George Bush W was Republican from 2000 to 2008 in office. Don't forget all the congressmen mindlessly applauding him for 30 minutes. Yeah, fuck anybody who applauds for him. Anybody who's not behind the charge to arrest him. Would you throw sticks? Yeah, she sucks. She sucks. She like there are children that like went to her office to like, hey, let's combat climate change. Hey, we need these policies passed because literal fucking 5-year-olds know more about our current crisis than literal fucking 70-year-old Congress people. And Nancy Pelosi was like, no, no, I'm going to do whatever I want. Get away. You don't know what politics are. Screw you. And Nancy Pelosi had her daughter cart around Dianne Fetterman for the remaining years of her political career when she had literal syphilis and she was being carted around. Nancy Pelosi's a piece of fucking shit. She's been able to get some accomplishments. So is Chuck Schumer, but she's a fucking tool, and she's probably one of the biggest manipulators of them all. And Newsom look like supervillains. Trump literally looks like a supervillain. So Mitch McConnell looks like a supervillain as well. So what do you want to say, man? Newsom does sort of look like if he had his head shaved, he'd look like Lex Luthor. But Trump like literally has a orange face and a fake hair and an evil red suit. My mom literally called him Satan. He said he looks like Satan, so or the Grinch as well. So let's not compare apples to oranges. Admit that, Hank, they look evil. Yeah, and your guy and all of your big politicians look evil, and so does Brett Kavanaugh, and so does Gates, who just got caught up in a sex scandal. So don't throw stones from glass houses. Hank, was Day ever Kangs and shit? Kangs. Was Day ever Kangs and shit? I don't think Kanye was ever a Kang, man. I don't think he got there, man. Day Kangs. We was Kangs. Oh God. Oh jeez. Oh. Mansa Musa was. Yeah. There was a time where the African continent was full of gold and all sorts of material resources, and the communities were happy as can be and had their own countries and own society. And then the British decided to fuck it all up and stole all their resources and created their own colonies there, like they were on a fucking visit to the zoo, and basically had them all combat each other, and they raped Africa. So there you go. They were kings, including Mansa Musa. Those sticks means oh, throw sticks at Kayla, right? No, God no, God no. At any point, honestly. Wamp, 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 wamp. Yeah, he looks like action figure. You like Tulsi? I mean, in terms of attraction, I guess, but I'd have her get rid of that Pepe Le Pew white stripe in her hair, that Cruella de Vil hairdo. And she betrayed the party that I support, so fuck her. He's just an innocent UFC fan that liked hookers. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, never did a bad thing, man. People forget, man. He just helped out the UFC his entire 4 years in office. People forget, man. That guy's a living lie. Have you seen Nancy's rack? I honestly don't want to. Kamala, if you could tell me about Kamala, I'd reconsider things a little. You talking about AOC, man? You talking about fucking Jasmine Crockett, I'll consider that here or there. We'll see. Yeah. And Marjorie Taylor Greene looks like female Trump, by the way. Looks horrifying. Anyway, let's get to my last news story, shall we, folks? The UFC's TV deal with broadcast partners in Brazil has finally come to an end after 20 years of operation, happening around the same time that the UFC is set to have its broadcast deal in the US come to an end with ESPN Plus. I doubt this decision is out of spite for the Brazilian MMA market, even though honestly they deserve it for the last couple of Rio shows, but that's neither here nor there. And they would be stupid to have no TV deals in place for very long, given that Brazil is one of the biggest and most prominent MMA countries and audiences in the world. I'm thinking the UFC is making a big announcement regarding a more globalized and accessible streaming service for multiple countries in the world to watch at. Either Netflix, like their big brother, the WWE, or on Amazon Prime as an alternative, given Bezos' newfound protective relationship with the big man set to be in office. I'd legit be Hank Stradamus if that ends up playing out in real life. But where do you think WWE goes with its TV deal? Does it reconnect with ESPN Plus? Does it continue that? Does it go on Netflix or Amazon Prime Video? Because this looks to me like UFC's cutting all its TV deals so that it can make one big one for everybody to watch. That's what I. But apparently, UFC has finally cut ties with its TV partners in Brazil. Do you see that as a hint towards what the UFC is planning in a few months, or Netflix would be cool? It seems like Netflix is trying to become the new Turkey Al Sheikh here, people. Trying to sports wash every single combat sport it can muster. I honestly, it did really well with Monday Night Raw. I saw the entire Netflix premiere, and there was never a moment of buffering in it. So, the boxing promotions have to step up their game, man, and actually have some cameras and some production crews that can actually keep a live stream going, you know. But yeah, Amazon Prime would just be tough because you'd have to have 2 subscriptions, you know. If they lower pay-per-view prices, yeah, that'd be great as well. But they wouldn't, because we're in an elitist nation at this point. If UFC went to Netflix, pay-per-views would be free. Good point. Maybe they'd be on that makes Amazon Prime the perfect fit, honestly. My guess is they stay with ESPN. Yeah. But if that's the case, why are they cutting all these deals, man? Why aren't they just telling everybody, "Hey, we're just going to re-sign with ESPN Plus, you know? This is running out, but we're still going to be hanging out with ESPN and they're still going to be displaying our pay-per-views." If they had no intention to depart from ESPN, why aren't they saying so? Maybe BAT can pick up WWE, and hopefully it will be a success, and not. Wow, that's very interesting from a brother, coming from a brother, you know. BT, oh God, that's quite an interesting. You can tell that he's had 3 or 4 mushrooms already, guys. But yeah, but they're already with Netflix because part of negotiating, they're going to shop around and stretch ESPN's wallet, right? And they deserve it. ESPN deserves to have its wallet stretched because they are price gouging us to death, motherfuckers. Got to lower their fucking prices. Maybe the UFC can shop around and force ESPN to lower its pay-per-view prices. Thing is, WWE went away from pay-per-view and did a subscription service and grew in revenue. Yeah. Sorry. And they have Fight Pass. Me and Fight Night Frankie were talking about this. If they just made Fight Pass like $20 and that includes pay-per-views, everybody'd be buying it. So, you know, they just need to do that. They just need to make Fight Pass cost more. But have the pay-per-views be free on there, and people would buy a shit ton of Fight Pass. Pay-per-view model is outdated, and it shows in the numbers. It shows in the numbers. The UFC hasn't had a pay-per-view over 1 million buys in a very, very, very long time. Fans don't want to pay for pay-per-views, especially with the shit that UFC has been spewing the last couple of years. So all stars are gone. So yeah, it's honestly for the UFC's benefit that it moves away from pay-per-views. They'd probably make more money. But anyway, I mean, like I got 5 minutes left. That's it for the Hank's Think Tank. So if you got any more comments and concerns, I'm going to be doing my member stream on Friday for anyone who's joined the membership for this channel. I'll probably be chatting for an hour or hour and 30 minutes. And then hopefully I got Hank's fight companion for Dern versus Hebas to Electric Boogaloo on Saturday if I can find the right streaming service. So look forward to more from Hank the Tank solo streams coming up in the next couple days. Is there anything else that people want to say? Final concluding statements or last words before Hank the Tank throws the switch? Damn it! Throws the switch on your lives. Hank, I enjoy your style, man. Thank you, Useless. I appreciate your style too. Yeah, you get that cast on the arm of Kayla Harrison looks pretty cool. But yeah, I'm very improvised. I try to perform as much as I can. I enjoy being a little actor. You know, it helps the streams go by quicker. Honestly, can you see the smoke from where you are? No, I can't see it right now. Honestly, I'll take a look tomorrow, and I'll see. Hope you're safe. It's crazy in LA. Are you in LA right now, Useless? I hope you're not in LA. Is Lucy Meta cringe? Let me see. Yeah, Meta is ultra cringe. It's getting more and more cringe by the day. They have fully sold out to their political superiors at the moment. In your opinion, in 2025, is Lucy Meta cringe, or do you mean mega cringe? What are you saying, Darth Jesus? The first sumo tournament of the year starts on the 12th. Ooh, that'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be super fun. Actually, that might be on TV. Maybe my dad will record that. He loves sumo, so I'll look forward to that. Lucy Meta cringe. Does anybody know what this is? Where's Fight Fan? It's Idaho Fight Fan, unfortunately. He is probably sleeping right now, to be honest. He's getting a good night's sleep. Sumo streams, mark it down exactly. I'm doing Hank the Tank stream. It's gonna be Hank the Tank streams for the next 3 days. He just does his occasional picks with me, and then he does Fight Nerd and the recap. But that's earlier in the week. Fight Fan. Yeah, he's not here right now. How's the job search going? Well, I've still had my applications. I did an interview last week, so waiting for the results of that. And if those don't turn out well, then just try again, right? I'm considering some stuff that's maybe not associated with the degree until I go for another one that is related to what I graduated with. So we'll see how it's going. It depends on the results of next week, but I gotta keep going. Oh, you. What kind of job are you applying for? I'm trying to go for something regarding politics or history or education, somewhere in those fields. I could be a consultant, could be an intern for a little while. Work on as a legislative analyst. I was thinking that. Thinking of working for a museum, either starting with security or even a janitor position, and then moving on to someone who assists in who's a museum assistant, and then a potential curator, or being a history teacher, which I might have to be over time. Dude, Crack Streams 3 is so bad. I know there will be mud. I know. Yeah, it's garbage. So we got to keep looking, man. Got to keep looking. Chad King thinks he's very funny. Very, very funny. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave you folks out with that. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging in there with me for 2 hours. Got to apply and then call them a couple days later. Yeah, I agree. Fully agree. Just to show that you're committed. And send them a follow-up email. You ever thought about being a bounty hunter? Maybe I'd last. Who knows? I'll consider. Oh, yeah. To make sure they received it. That's right. That's right. I've gotten a few follow-up interviews, so I think I'm succeeding in at least like applying. Macho Man impression outro. You got it, not in the AM, bro, for sure. With all that being said, Splitty City Slickers, you have escaped the concrete jungle for now. Oh, yeah. Dana White, Mark Zuckerberg, you want to be an MMA fighter? Why don't you get into a sport that's where you got to be a real man? And I'm going to drop that elbow on you. Oh, yeah. Hulk Hogan is selling that stupid real American bullshit. If he'd have been there with Jimmy Hart, I would have taken that American flag and shoved it right down his throat. I would have drank all his beer, and then I would have found Miss Elizabeth. Oh, yeah, because I am a man. I am the cream of the crop. Hulk Hogan, you better stop hawking that shit with your hot dog, and yeah!